Welcome to Here Comes the Boom, KSR recruiting podcast, talking all things Kentucky basketball recruiting. We've got a great show for you today. We're talking about some of Kentucky's new efforts in the 2026 class, and then a lot of new names in the 2027 class due to the June 15th contact period, where coaches can start reaching out to rising juniors directly. Let's start by talking about this new 2026 offer. Darren Rippey Jr. He is out of New Jersey, went to the same high school, or goes to the same high school that Otego Away went to, over at Blair Academy. And I caught up with his father just earlier this week, and he was talking about how Kentucky's always been Kentucky. You got some New Yorkers, some New Jersey guys that have been in the program and helped them win national titles. They haven't set a visit to Kentucky yet, but they're planning to get all of these visits set and sorted out in the near future. He's right now ranked by the industry as the 18th best player in the 2026 class, but I expect him to rise significantly in the rankings. I'm hearing people talk about him as a potential top 10 player in the class. He's developed a ton over this past year and was just playing with Team USA during that mini camp. He made the first cut, playing really well over there. He was at the NBPA Top 100 camp, and so he's been showing out in a lot of these big-time summer events and looking like one of the best players in the class. Speaking of best players in the class, the 2027 contact period began on June 15th. So basically, Kentucky's reached out to a lot of the players in the 2027 class before this date, extending 3 offers, but now they can reach out to them directly instead of having to go through a parent or go through a coach to get a hold of them. So they reached out to just a ton of different names, and we'll go through a lot of them. I want to start with the 3 offers, though, that are on the table, starting with Baba Oladotun, a 6'8" forward out of Maryland. He's the number 2 overall player in the On3 industry ranking. He was the first player they offered in the class back in September, and he continues to be a priority. His father told me that he's going to be taking all of the calls even after this June 15th date, so coaches won't be reaching out directly to Baba just yet. But his dad said that Coach Mark Pope and assistant coach Jason Hart called immediately as the contact period began, and they're continuing to build that relationship. Another player they've offered is Obinna Akizi Jr., a 6'11" center from Prolific Prep, which was in California. That school is actually moving to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and Kentucky reached out pretty quickly. Mark Pope and an assistant, I believe it was Jason Hart, but I could be wrong about that. And they're continuing to make him a priority. I believe he got on a call with them on June 15th on Sunday to talk about their recruiting pitch. And then the third offer in the class is CJ Rosser. He's the number 1 overall player in the On3 industry ranking, 6'9" forward out of North Carolina. Kentucky saw him play at the Nike EYBL session in Memphis and extended an offer shortly after that. And Mark Pope and the staff have been in contact with him since the June 15th period. So they're hitting all of the offered players, and then they're reaching out to a lot of players that they have interest in. I'm not going to go through all of them. You can go to KSR Plus, and you can find our big board of everyone that Kentucky's reached out to in the 2027 class. But a few guys I want to mention are Bruce Branch, a 6'7" small forward out of Dynamic Prep in Texas. He's out of Perry in Gilbert, Arizona. He's number 8 in the On3 industry ranking, but I've heard people talk about him as potentially being the best player in the country, even the best player in the country regardless of class by some people. So he's a name that could really jump up these rankings and emerge as a true 5-star in this class. And Kentucky's getting in there early. They haven't offered yet, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them offer at some point. Another player, you got 2 players from Dynamic Prep who I just accidentally mentioned. You got Ryan Hampton, 6'5" shooting guard. Kentucky's been in touch with him for a while. Alvin Brooks is leading the charge there. Brooks was actually recruited Ryan's older brother, RJ Hampton, when he was in high school, but he wound up going overseas. And then you've got his high school teammate, Marcus Spears Jr., a 6'7" small forward who is right now number 9 overall in the class, but he's been playing really well lately. He's another one that could jump into that top 5 ranks. A few more guys. Nasir Anderson, 6'1" guard out of Georgia. He played really well with Team USA recently. I believe it was the U16s when they won a title, a gold medal in Mexico. And He's right now ranked number 40 overall, and he's really just now popping on a lot of teams' radars. So he's one to watch in 2027. You can see his profile here over on three. You've got Reese Alston, another guy, 6'1" guard, the son of former NBA guard Rafer Alston. He's the number 42 overall player in the class, but Kentucky's been on him for a while. Coach Mikhail McLean has been the one leading the charge there. Alvin Brooks has been involved. So they're keeping a regular communication with Reese Alston. Called him very shortly after that midnight time on June 15th. And he's one to watch in Texas because there are a lot of kids in Texas that Kentucky's going after. One kid that is not in Texas, you have Marte Barnes out of Florida, 6'2" combo guard, number 29 overall in the class. He heard from Alvin Brooks right at midnight. Kentucky was the first school to call him. So it's early with these 2027s. I don't want to take too much from it, but for Kentucky to be the first call for Marte Barnes, first guy they call at midnight, that's pretty significant. They haven't offered yet, but he's someone that they're clearly prioritizing in this class. Like I said, go to KSR Plus, go check out the full list, but those are just some of the names that pop into my head, and we've got stories with a lot of these guys. We talked to plenty of them shortly after this June 15th period, so go check out those interviews and go and subscribe to KSR Plus. My final thought today is we've got a lot to look forward to in recruiting. You had Tyron Stokes just take a visit. Kentucky's very heavily involved in that recruitment. And then you got Tay Kinney, who's set to take an official visit next week. That will be one to watch. Both Tyron and Tay, it seems like their recruitments are coming down to Kentucky and Louisville. I know Kansas is a little bit involved in Tyron Stokes' recruitment. I'm not counting them out. And then Tay Kinney's got a lot of other schools involved, but Kentucky and Louisville are two schools that are pushing for both of those guys. And one of them you just had on campus in Tyron Stokes, and another Kentucky's going to have on campus next week in Tay Kinney. So we'll be paying close attention to those. Thank you for watching. Be sure to go and subscribe to KSR Plus. Go and subscribe to the KSR YouTube channel, and we'll see you again soon.